Hello everybody, today I'm gonna talk about the Jolla Phone again. So a few weeks have gone by since they announced their new campaign that they will sell a new Jolla Phone and produce it. They need at least 2,000 people to sign up for it, and they have passed that by a good margin. So 6,000 and a bit more have signed up already. And it's going on until the end of January. So you have your chance to sign up if you want to have this phone. Now the price is 579 euro. And on X, Jolla have been posting as well. So we're bringing back the iconic, the other half open innovation platform and smart covers if we reach 10,000 pre-orders. So that's what I want to have to get this back. And the other half, that's actually something they had, I think it was for the very first Jolla phone they ever made, I think at least. So I tried to find something about it. I know I read about it in the past when at that time. But what I could find was this video 11 years ago, and it showcases it a little bit. You can just look at it. It's quite short here. So it's like basically another backside of the phone, and apparently it's using NFC, or at least it did back then. And when a phone detected it, then it would like change the color a bit, and like you color theme and background to match the color of the backside. So I think people were a little bit disappointed back then that they didn't do more about this other half, like maybe something more functional than just a visual difference. And but I'm very happy that it's going so well for the Jolla phone, although I will not order one, I don't think at least, and I will go through that in this video. But I'm happy that it's doing so well, and I hope even more people sign up for it. But I think you kind of need to have the right expectations and be maybe the right person and be in the right mindset to jump on this, I think. And that's like why I will stay away for now, at least, from it. But here they are happy, and if we look at Jolla's X, so here they passed 6,000 a bit before Christmas. Here they passed 5,000. Yeah, so people are actively signing up, and that's fun to see. There was also a post here on the register. They were also talking about the new Jolla phone. This was from December 15. And they seemed positive in this article, so you can check that out if you're interested. Like they say here, overall Sailfish is arguably the most complete independent mobile OS. It's totally separate from anything from Google or Apple or desktop Linux. And the app catalog is impressive. We did regularly get lost in its slightly idiosyncratic UI, but it was always possible to get out again. If you want a total break from the mainstream mobile duopoly, this is a viable alternative, although you might need a standalone sat-nav too. Yeah, so they were at least positive. If you want something else than the standard iOS and Android. And what I liked with this phone was that they had on their forum, like they had like a poll where their users could vote for what they wanted the specs to be in this phone. So like here with memory, storage, display, resolution, camera, a lot of different things. So they asked their community what they were interested in. Also you can see here with the markets. So the initial market for the phone will be Europe, and we look forward to enable the product to other markets. And then they want to know where their users are from, and 85% are from the European Union. So I think that's like a bit like a reason for their reason that the markets are EU, UK, Norway, and Switzerland for now. It seems like a lot of European-based users. And what I like with Jolla is they have an SDK for Sailfish OS. So if you want to develop an app, you can do that. They have documentation here on their website, and like you can open a guide here, and yeah, step by step they will help you to set up the development environment and help you to make your first app. And so like Sailfish OS, so it's based on Linux, and it's using Wayland and systemd and standard Linux components. And here you're writing an app then with Qt and QML and C++. So if you're familiar with that, then I guess it will not be that difficult to get started. And I think that sounds interesting if I were to get a Jolle phone. Although when I was reading in the forum, so this is the forum for platform development. I think this is like for app developers. And like if you just like look at the threads here, they are a bit like old, or there are not that many posts that frequently, so maybe there are not that many like people who are into development. Like if you look here on Sailfish OS on their forum here, platform development 6 per month of topics, application 19 per month. It's not that much, maybe life in like all forums here. Maybe here with applications, people are mostly, what I have seen, like discussing apps that they wish were here and maybe don't work, and they're like searching for support. I saw somebody in the platform development forum here. It was quite recent. It's from December 13. Somebody asking like how to get started with developing for Sailfish OS. He's familiar with Qt and QML. So I got some advice here with like starting with SDK and VirtualBox for simulating the app. Although I think it was a little bit disappointing here to read that they're stuck on Qt 5. Please keep in mind that we're still on Qt 5, and they're apparently working on Qt 6, but that's not like implemented yet. And here somebody clarifying it's Qt 5.6. So when I looked at here the version history for Qt, so if you go to version 5, so that was released in 2012, and 5.6, so that's the one they are using for Sailfish OS. It's from 2016, so it's like 9 years old by now. Version 6 was released in 2020, so 5 years ago. So it seems like this stalled a bit. It's a little bit disappointing to see. Here is this thread about packaging Qt 6 for Sailfish OS. It has been going on for some while, but it seems like they have not completed it yet. So a little bit sad to see. And like when I just browsed around among the app discussions here, like there are this sort of questions like Vivaldi browser on Sailfish OS, and people are like here you can find it, but that's an Android package, not an RPM. So RPM is what they use for Sailfish OS, but you can run Android apps if you want, and true, but at least it's usable until it's possible to install / use standard desktop Linux RPM packages on Sailfish OS. So it seems like that's often, I guess, the option that you need to run Android apps. Here, somebody else asking about Snapchat on Sailfish OS. And then a discussion with the 𝗕𝗏𝗃 if it works, and that's like instead of using the Google Play services, you can use 𝗘𝗔𝗡𝗟. That's a different like open source implementation of the Google Play services. Not all apps work with that, but still it's I mean it's like still using the Android app then if you're talking about 𝗘𝗔𝗡𝗟, so it's not like a native Sailfish OS app they're discussing here. And like I think it's a good and bad. I think it's quite fun that there is such like a open space that if you have any like desire, like there are a lot I think you can do on Sailfish OS. Like there are a lot of missing apps. So if you're a developer, I think there's a lot you can do. And but that's also like good and bad. So I think maybe like as a hobby, I think it would be fun. But where I'm now at my point in life, I don't really have that amount of time, I'm afraid. And yeah, I have a lot of other projects that I would like to find time to, and maybe like fiddling with a mobile operating system is not really where I want to be today. But it would be fun to try this with the SDK and try to develop. But there are also critique I saw, like here somebody turning Sailfish OS into another spyware-ridden phone. So install Sailfish OS, install AAS, I guess that's the Android emulation layer for Sailfish OS, I guess. Then install Google Play services, install Play Store, use Google ID to download apps, install WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram, Google Apps, yada yada. And yeah, so then you like end up with everything bad again. So and then things that you're safe and private now because you're using a private Sailfish OS. Lol. It's basically turned into another Android phone with shaky app compatibility and bugs. I've been thinking about privacy a lot lately. I just wanted to share my thoughts. So maybe if you are like into this mindset, maybe you should like avoid this. But I like also understand that, like for me as well, like it's a bit difficult to avoid all apps that are only available for Android and iOS. So I think he has some point, but I think sadly you need to be a bit pragmatic as well today. And also in these like discussions and so like Sailfish OS, they claim that they are an open platform. But like if you research a bit more, it's not like actually open source. So like most things that are open source, like Linux and Wayland and systemd and these things. But the top layer that Jolla and Sailfish that they have built, that's not open source, which maybe is fine, but I think it's a little bit downside, sadly. And here is another thread I saw. It's somebody who found or posted a comment from Graphene OS. So that's an Android fork for the Pixel phones, and they are very, very focused on privacy and security. Maybe a bit too much, some might think, but like that's their focus. And they say that Jolla is a for-profit company misleading people about what they are providing. Their OS has extraordinary poor privacy and security compared to the Android open source project or iOS. Their own OS code is mostly closed source, and there isn't an open source subset that's usable. Jolla has spent years falsely claiming the Android open source project isn't Linux and misleading people into believing a largely closed source distribution is more open than an open source one. They have misled people about privacy and security to an extreme, convincing people that a device lacking a proper sandbox, permission model, exploit protections, widespread use of memory-safe language, and many modern security features is more private and secure. They have their own invasive services too. Companies selling phony privacy products which do not provide basic privacy or security patches, do not have a modern privacy/security model, and do not have modern exploit or privacy protections aren't above being criticized due to portraying themselves as part of open source. They have put massive effort into misleading people about the Android open source project and OSs. And somebody here replying, indeed, Sailfish OS is unfortunately not totally open source. And I go on to discuss, and I think they have some point here. But we need to remember that Graphene OS, they are heavily focused on security, so maybe it's a bit of an extreme. But of course, it's good to be privacy and security focused. But maybe sometimes they're a bit hard. But I think they have some point, and but I think it's good to see alternatives, and I think they're right about Jolle Phone not being open source, and also that they say with this there is no subset here that's usable. So I guess I haven't researched it myself, but I guess you cannot take the open source parts of Sailfish OS and install it yourself and modify the code. It seems like that's not possible. So it's a little bit lacking. I wish it had been different with Sailfish OS, that it would have been completely open. But I also think with the Android open source project, it's also not perfect by the least. Especially with Google, they're discussing how to prevent people from installing apps outside Play Store on their phones. Now they're a little bit backed down from it, so I think that's good, but still and this with Android not being proper Linux, I think Jolla and Sailfish is right about that. I think Jolla feels more like a proper Linux phone, being more having this more standard Linux components that you would find on a Linux desktop or server. So I think both sides have their pros and cons, or how to put it. And then also here is another thread, just when I browsed through their forums a little bit here, somebody saying that they got an SMS from their phone operator in Sweden saying that they will block my phone from February because of lacking support for emergency calls. And then they discussed that a bit. But I think for just what I want to say is that for me, where I'm in my life, I'm not sure if I want to deal with these sort of issues that suddenly I'm going to get blocked from my phone provider because some feature is missing from my phone. Maybe it would be fun as a secondary phone, but I'm not sure if I personally would want to invest the time right now to build the apps I need or want, and try to find workarounds and all this. I'm so reliant today on banking apps and parking and public transport and all these sort of apps. And also in Sweden we have this bank ID for identification, and if I were to use a Jolle phone, then I would need to use the Android bank ID app. It's so many governmental and private companies that rely on bank ID today in Sweden to be able to sign in. So it's a bit sad that it's like that, but yeah, that's the reality. And I heard in a podcast, it's big, long time Linux user, Graham Morrison, they discussed here, it was mostly about gaming and Valve, but here they talk about what about the Steam phone, if they would use that, or if that's could be a reality. But we can listen here, just what Graham says about what sacrifices he's willing to do.
When people don't accept it, but I think Lineage is probably our best chance of something like this. But I think it's a pretty desperate situation.
Maybe all of this stuff that Valve is doing will trickle down to that space too. Who knows? It's all about that. If on mobile phones for me, though, well, not just for me. I don't like really using my phone, but when it comes down to it, are the apps there that I need to use?
And I've become reliant on my banking app working, and I have to say contactless payments. So it's hard enough in my world without Facebook and without WhatsApp and without Instagram because of the decisions I've made. I can't, I've made a few choices, but I can't take it any further unless I'm prepared to live in a hut up a mountain, which
can only
isn't
do
a
so
bad
much.
idea.
It's not a bad idea. You can only do so much.
Yeah.
Before?
Yeah, I think so. Like we heard there, I think he has a point that he has skipped out on some social medias, and I think each of us need to like pick our battles. Some are willing to do a lot, and for the sake of privacy and avoiding these big tech corps, but you still also need to like live in a world. So I think it's like individually, you just need to decide how big sacrifices are you willing to make. Like I'm trying to avoid Google products, and I'm like migrating away a bit from some of them, and like trying to reduce my social media usage and what apps I'm using. But like with what Graham said here, and like he relies on his banking apps, and sadly, like now I have this duopoly with iOS and Android, and it's a little bit difficult to escape them, and so many services are only available on those platforms. So, but maybe you could use the Jolla phone as a secondary phone, but maybe you need to pick your battles. So that's where I am at. But I think it's very positive that so many have bought it and or will buy it. Like it's just pre-sale for now. And like we need people to take this step if no people support initiatives like this, like there will not be a third player in that case. So we need people to develop and support and put their money there, so to build that ecosystem. So eventually it might grow and become a real competitor. But yeah, it's some decision everybody of us need to make ourselves. And I think that's it for me today. I hope this was informative, and please share in the comments what you think about the Jolla phone, and if you have backed it, and if you have used it in the past. And yeah, it would be interesting to hear what you think about the Jolla phone and how like usable it is, and if you have had to make any sacrifices, or if you use like a spare Android phone at the side for other things. And please share what your experience has been, and I will see you another time. Bye bye.